you know, you pick up the phone, you're on the phone for half an hour. So, you know, why are people so frightened? How can we get them to stop feeling that way and understand why they're feeling like that, and so that they can pick up the phone and make those important calls?
Sure. Well, first thing first is always, I think, to say, you know, if anyone's thinking that, whoever's thinking that, and lots of people do think that, you are not alone. Lots and lots of people have a fear of the phone. It's really, really common. It could be for any number of reasons. It really could. I mean, it could be, you know, it could be an ingrained thing from the past, you know, a past experience that you've had with the phone, perhaps when you were younger, or perhaps not, you know, not so long ago. But thinking positively, that's okay, because that's in the past, so we can let go of that. What about, you know, you could be thinking, oh, no one uses the phone anymore, we don't need to make calls, or, you know, it's a really odd thing to do. No, we can let go of that too. People still make calls. Something else, you know, people might be thinking, I don't know what to say. I could be getting all flustered. I haven't got the right, you know, maybe it's a script. I haven't got the right thing in place. So I'm just going to get all flustered and stumble all over my words. I don't want to look stupid, so I'm just not going to do it. That would be much, much easier. But, you know, I've got news for you there. It's okay. We can throw a bit of a script together, and we can, you know, put some words together, and we'll know what we can say and we can be happy with. So that's the main thing. So first things first, if everyone hopefully has got a pen and a pad with them, because I'd like to do a little exercise with you. And I'm just going to throw some questions at you. And I'd like you to answer these just very quickly, the first things that come into your head, all right? So please, if you can write down for me, write down 3 words or phrases about how using the phone for UW calls makes you feel. 3 words or phrases. How does it make you feel using the phone for UW calls? Anything good is bad. Sorry, anything good is good. Anything bad is good. It's fine, whatever it is, whether it's good or bad, pop it on paper. 3 words or phrases. How using the phone for UW calls makes you feel.
Hope you're all doing this, guys.
Number
Hope
2.
everyone's doing it. Yep.
It's really good, because you can look at it later and you can think, oh, okay, that's where I'm stuck. Number 2, write down 2 or 3 words or phrases about why using the phone for UW calls is important to you. Why is it important to you to use the phone for UW calls? 2 or 3 things. Number 3. Again, first couple of things that come into your head, just pop them on paper. Number 3, write down 2 or 3 words or phrases or sentences about how you would like to feel about using the phone for UW calls. How would you like to feel when you pick that phone up? Number 4, bit of a different one here. Write down how using the phone for social calls makes you feel. How does it feel if you're picking up the phone to phone a family member or a friend? Pop that down. Number 5, what could be the very worst thing that could happen to you by using the phone to make UW calls? Now, I've heard some funny things over the years. Yeah, just some really funny things. Someone said to me recently, well, what if they slap my face? I said, how can they slap your face? They can't reach down the phone. No, but when I see them, what if I bump into them and they slap my face? They won't slap your face. It's fine. And the last one, number 6. Who is it that's holding you back from using the phone? I think we might all know the answer to that one. But just to expand on that, you know, is it is it people? Is it certain people you think? Is it your surroundings? You know, by people, I mean, I'm not pointing the finger, but sometimes, you know, we don't have a supportive spouse. So is it that, you know, it's not really encouraged to make calls for your business? Or is it surroundings? So is it really noisy? Have you not got a specific workspace? You know, there's lots going on. The kids are screaming, the dog's barking. It's not conducive for making calls. Okay, so you'll know what you have down there for those. Now, what could we, you know, first one, going back to the first one, a couple of things that how using the phone for UW calls makes you feel. Well, it could be nervous, and I'm doing this, obviously I haven't got any feedback on this tonight. Normally I would ask and I would get some answers back, so I'm going to presume what you might be popping down on that paper. Could be nerves, you know, it could be trepidation, it could be, you know, It might even be tears. Some people do get very, very upset when they're using the phone, and then they're not really sure why. Or it could be, actually, I feel really good when I'm doing it, but I just don't know what to say. I'm not saying the right things. So, number two, why is it important to you? Well, it's probably because we want to make appointments. We want to talk to our team members. We need to call our existing customers and maybe do a bit of an upsell. You know, they've got their energy with us, but perhaps they haven't got the phone and broadband for whatever reason, and the mobile and the light bulbs, blah, blah, blah. It might be might be not to make a point, might even be just to set up a meeting. You know, perhaps you're going to set up you met someone at networking and you need to set up a get together, a one-to-one with them so you can talk about each other's businesses. Lots of different reasons why using the phone is important to you. But actually, it might be because it's your goal. You want to, as in you want to qualify for the holiday. You want to earn £500 a month. You want 3 quips a month. It might be stuff like that. So it's really important you nail down why you're actually using it. Number 3, how would you like to feel about using the phone for UW calls? Well, probably relaxed, happy, okay, you know, feeling good. When people ask me how do I feel about making phone calls, and I think they might expect me to say, actually, I'm really excited about it. I'm really happy about it. No, not really, but also I'm not down in the dumps about it either. I'm kind of quite indifferent about it. So if you can make calls where you're ticking along on a level, you know, where you just feel okay about it, it's neither exciting nor depressing, then that's great, because it is a fundamental part of the business. I believe it's the lifeblood of our business, and it's one of those mundane tasks that we all need to do. So it's a good place to be, I think, if you can just feel like, you know, it's okay, I need to do it. Bit of a different one. How does the phone make you? How does using the phone for social calls make you feel? Some people will say, "Oh, completely relaxed. It's okay because I know them. They're warm. You know, they're not going to shout at me. They're not going to put the phone down." Some people will say, "Oh, it's a bit of a difficult one because I really don't. You know, I don't make social calls." So that's something for you to think about. But generally, people will feel a bit happier about making social calls. So have a think about that one. Number 5, what could be the worst thing that could happen to you? Well, as I say, I've heard some really funny things. But you know what? The worst that anyone can say is no, isn't it? If somebody puts the phone down on you, it doesn't matter, because there's lots and lots of other people to call. And actually, when I think of all the calls I've made, it hasn't really happened that often that somebody's put the phone down on me. It's not that important if they do, because they're not serious about saving money or making money. So that's okay too. The last one we put down. Who is it that's holding you? Oh, sorry. Yeah, who is it that's holding you back from using the phone? Well, lots of people might have said, "Oh, me." Yeah, of course it is. It's us generally, isn't it? But I just wanted you to think a bit deeper about that. Could it be, you know, your surroundings, or could it be, other people that are around that not conducive to having an environment that's successful for making some calls? So just a few things there to think about, because it's a bit of a checklist as to why you're doing your calls and what you want from them. All right.
Steve, that's brilliant. Some of that stuff just to make people think about it. But I also get people saying that I don't want to come across scripted, you know, because we do use scripts. And strangely enough, I use scripts now, but they don't even sound like scripts anymore. But they don't want to sound like a bit of a call center. So how can you use scripts in the right way? Or what do you need to do to not make them sound scripted, so it doesn't sound like you're even bothering people?
Yeah, good question, Stephen. That, you know, firstly, to answer that, I would say actually we are bothering people, but be okay with bothering people, because that's what we do with our business. We're bothering people a little bit. It's probably fair to say, but just be okay with that, because I believe, as friendly utility warehouse partners, we do it in quite a nice way. You know, we're not hounding people, or at least we shouldn't be. We're bothering people in quite a nice way. We're following up, we're checking up, you know, can we come and see you? Would it be okay if we're doing all that in quite a nice way? The other part of that is be conversational. We don't want to sound salesy, and I think there's a fear. Part of the fear comes from, I'm going to sound salesy. No, you won't sound salesy, because we're not trained in a sales way, as in sitting in a heavily scripted call center with lots of noise around us, you know, where the other person on the end of the phone can hear all this noise, and we're hitting them hard with salesy lines. We're not doing that. We're just nice, friendly people who potentially, or we possibly met them somewhere. It might have been a Winner Mini, it might have been a networking, maybe it's a neighbour letter, you could be following up over the phone, you could be doing that. Or it's your list, of course, you're working your list, and those people on your list you generally know. So it's not that you're doing cold calls, so we can put that to one side. We don't use it heavily, it's not heavily scripted as in salesy, I don't believe. We can sound friendly. If we smile when we speak, our tone will sound friendlier over the phone. And some people find that hard to believe, but it is true. You will sound more upbeat, more uplifted. So it's good to smile when you're on the phone as well. And maybe you'd like to walk around when you're on the phone rather than sitting down, because especially if you're phoning your chicken list, it's good to walk around and maybe stick some headphones in. I just use iPhone headphones, and it is very true. And I think it was Mr. Critch who said this actually, but when you've got, going in stereo, it actually goes into the center of your brain rather than just in one ear, and you respond better than you would if you were just, on one ear. So that's something to think of. And we can build a script that sounds natural to you. And don't forget, with script, it's not a hard and fast thing. You have to say what's on the script. You can tweak it so it sounds a bit more like you. So people will, think, oh, that's funny. He or she doesn't sound like that normally. But all this stuff, doing it in a friendly, non-salesy way, in a nice tone, in a friendly manner, you're building rapport all the time. And building rapport is asking questions, verbal nods, asking them to repeat what they've said, that kind of thing. That's really important. Just shows that we're listening as well. So I don't think we will sound like we're in a scripted call centre. I think that's just something in our...
And also, Steve, it's really important. I see a lot of people, and as a company trainer, and I'll say this, and it's really interesting because we did a project recently on the SGL group, and we teach people in training to say a script, which is you ring your friend and say, look, I've just started something really exciting. I value your opinion. How soon can I pop round and show you? And yet I know that people walk out that room 5 minutes later and they ring their friend and say, do you know what? I've started a business. I can save you money on your bills. Okay. And that baffles me because we're in this SGL room and 25 people who are about to hit SGL, every single one of those people got to where they are, group leader and close to SGL, by using the script that I just said. How can people overcome this thing of walking away, like the driving instructor says, go in first gear and put your clutch up, and they seem to get in another car and then try and put it in reverse and go forward? How can we get people to just believe in the scripts that the company has set up over years that has got, you to close to SGL, myself, and other people so close to SGL and above, by literally using those scripts at training?
Yeah, do you know what? That's a really good point. And I come from a place of, I don't like being told what to do. And my mum's on here listening. She'll be nodding. I think I did see her. She'll be nodding and laughing. So I've never liked being told what to do. But actually, with this business, it's the only thing I have ever done in my life where I've done what it says on the tin, because it works. So there is no point trying to reinvent the wheel. And I know, Stav, you will have seen it as well over the years. We've seen so many people who will reinvent the wheel and try things that, I need to try this. And, they'll come into the business and do all these amazing things that I've never even thought of. I say amazing, well, I've just never even thought of them. And I think, my God, why did you even think of that? But it's just pointless, because you just go around the houses and then coming back to exactly. Deflated, and then nothing works. So you either quit or you just have to go back to training and do what they say, and so it's just crazy. I don't know why that happens. It does work to follow the scripts, a basic script, and I've got one here that I can share a couple of. Did you manage to get those up on screen?
So you want me to just share the screen, then you can bloody hell, just give me a second. I will get the script up somewhere. I know it's here somewhere. Right, so this is the first one, I think.
Right. So let me talk you guys through this. So what I've done is I've just put these are scripts that I use and have used for a long time. And
can't see them yet. It's coming. Is that it now? There we go. Share. Can you all see that now? Yeah. Can you all see that? Someone wave.
Yeah. Well done. That's up.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is an idea. This is an example. Somebody that I've met at networking. maybe a breakfast or a coffee morning, something like that. And it's really simple. And I just want to break it down. You know, we don't have, this is something that I've taken from my telephone calls training that I've been doing around the country. So those of you who've been along, you'll know when I talk about these scripts. This is a very, very brief overview, but we break it down. So, you know, a lot of people will pick up the phone and think, oh, I don't know what to say. And of course it all burbles out and we just muck it up. You've got to have a structure with a basic script. This, I've broken it down to an opening, a message and an ending. Now, each part is very simple, but very important. The opening is just a hello, generally. It's Steve from Utility Warehouse. We met at the Golf Club networking breakfast last month. How are you? Did you enjoy the breakfast? Great, I did too. It's just, it's literally a hello and an introduction, you know, how's things? The message is the bulk of what we want to get across within that, from that script. So, Peter, when we chatted, you mentioned it'd be nice to meet for a coffee so we can both share a bit more about what we do with a view to helping each other with some referrals. I'd love to see how I can help you with your business. So when's best for you, daytimes or evenings? So we've gone through, we've started to say what we're looking for to help each other. And, you know, we're starting to sort of alternative close, as in when's best for you, daytimes or evenings, rather than just leaving it open as when's best for you. And then we're all sort of, oh, I don't know. So you're closing it down. And then the ending, afternoon's great, 3 or 4 p.m. So again, we're doing similar stuff to the stuff that people will learn on getting started. It's, you know, the alternative close. And then we confirm it. So we say where we're going to meet, the time we're going to meet, next Thursday. Thanks for your time. Look forward to seeing you. It's really simple stuff. And it's really easy not to use it. And I've seen this in training as well. I go through all the scripts with people and then we go on to do some live calls. And a lot of the scripts are left, you know, on the table. They're not used. And I'm like, whoa, hold on, what are we doing? Let's get back to the scripts. I've got, oh yeah, okay. Because people, it's okay, but it's just that people aren't used to using a script. So I would say have your script pinned up in front of you. If you make calls in your office, if you make calls in your bedroom, on the sofa, at the coffee table, wherever you do it, have this script pinned up in front of you or somewhere that you can easily refer to it, because obviously the other person can't see you on the end of the phone. It doesn't matter if you go off script. And don't forget, this isn't rigid in the sense that you've absolutely got to stick to this. And if somebody asks you how the weekend was, you're not allowed to say. You can obviously, of course, you know, have a bit of conversation and say, oh yeah, you know, it doesn't matter if you veer off, but of course the script is there to bring you back. So that's the nice thing about it. And, you know, to bring you back on track. Have you got the other one there, Steph?
Do you know what? I thought I did, but I can't see it.
I sent it in a separate.
I know.
Separate.
And I did have it, and I just don't know where it's saved on my computer. But what I will do, sorry guys, what I will do, I will put it on the WhatsApp groups, both this one and the other one. Now, when you look at that, you've got OME, which was, like you said, the opening, the message, and the ending. Guys, we train this on training. It's called Rome. You just add the R at the beginning, ROME for Rome, and the R is the reason you're going to call them. And then you finish off with the OME. So thanks for that. I also want to just go back to something you said earlier on. You mentioned the chicken list. Again, for those of you on the call that are new, we call the chicken list the people that you respect so much, who you think they're well off or they're in business, or you aspire to be like them, that you're too chicken to call them because of the way you feel about them. So I just wanted to mention that as well.
Absolutely. And a good solution is to swap lists with someone in the team or cross team, and you can phone each other's chicken list. That's a good tip. I remember hearing that a few years ago.
So what other tips could you give? I know that there's some people that do not team meetings, but they get together 3 or 4 people with their lists. And I hope everyone on here, guys, I went into Starbucks the other day and I increased my list by looking back on things, 133 names. So I hope you're all increasing your lists every day. But people do these little coffee mornings where they sit down for half an hour as a group, and then they're all going to corners and make calls to help each other. Do you ever do anything like that, or what would you suggest people could do with that?
Absolutely. What's for list building?
Yeah, well, no, for making the action, having the accountability to make the calls.
Okay, so I would say, and this is something that is, you know, I do in the telephone training as well, is actually, you know, people making calls together. So people always think they have to do it on their own, or they're really fearful of doing it in 2s and 3s or more. And actually what I encourage is people doing it in 2s, 3s or more, because one, it makes you accountable. 2, it's fun. It's more fun than doing it on your own. Like any of these activities, it's more fun to do it with someone else or groups of others. And also, you can hear what each other are saying. You can feed back in a very nice, positive, constructive way. And that has been massive in the trainings, because everyone wants everyone to succeed. So you can feed stuff back to each other and say, oh, well, this bit was really good, but perhaps if you just tweak this bit here, you might find you get a better result. But actually, do you know what? When all is said and done, I think sometimes just having 1 or 2 other people sitting with you, it gives you the confidence and the support to actually just get on with it and do it, use the script and get a few results, get a few appointments in the diary. And I've seen that in the training. People are so surprised they're getting appointments in the diary, but it's not surprising because they're using a script and they're just being nice and friendly on the phone. So it's simple stuff. That's what I want to get across.
Now, I've got a really good question for you in a second, but I just want to take your time up with 2 minutes on one of the issues I think a lot of people have, and it dawned on me as well when I was thinking about it, is scheduling follow-ups. When you've made a call or someone hasn't answered or they've said, look, I'm really busy right now, what's the best way to keep a track of that, to follow it up? Because that's so important.
Well, yes, absolutely. And I do think sometimes, only because people say they're really surprised, that when I say I actually have a really simple way of keeping track of stuff and following up. I mean, I don't use a CRM, but I hear it works really well for other people. I don't do anything high tech. I have, I wonder if you can see this. Perhaps you could see my desk if I could turn this camera around. Let me see if I can do that. Oh, okay. So on my desk here, I've literally got winner minis, piles of winner minis. My list, I've got a list of people there. I've got business cards. Oh, look at that. Another huge stack of winner minis there. What a surprise. So I really do keep it simple. And I literally write notes on the WAM forms. I use my iPhone and I use the calendar in my iPhone, and I set the alarm. So, I've got to call Mrs. Smith at 4 o'clock in February. I will put that in February in my diary. My alarm will go off and I will call her. If I can't call her at that specific time, then it's there in the diary and I know I have to clear that day's worth of calls at some point. So it's so easy, because if I didn't do that, I would just be up in the air and I could just sit here and phone WAM forms. But, you obviously speak to people, you agree a time to call back or to follow up. If it's not the right time for them, they're a no for now. So you have to have a system in place that says, okay, would it be okay if I give you a call in X amount of time, whatever you agree, and you have that in place to make sure that you do it at that agreed time. So it's really simple stuff. And I don't know if there's a simpler way that it could be done, because I've always done it like this and I've never done it any other way, and it's kind of served me well so far. So I kind of think, why should I change it? Find a system for you.
Okay.
That's what I would say.
Okay, I've got one more question to ask you in a second, but talking about making the phone calls and that, I want to share a tip, because I picked it up the other day and I love training because of the tips I pick up. Now, Claire Hingert, for any of you that know Claire Hingert, we're talking about making calls, and she said, I get a lot of good results making calls on a Sunday night, between 8 and 9 o'clock. And then it dawned on me, because I used to be in recruitment. I don't know if you guys know this, but people look on job sites for a job. Now, I wonder if you can guess, just think, what day do you think people look on job sites? Most people think it's Friday or Saturday, but it's actually, the biggest hits is between 11 o'clock and 2 o'clock on a Monday. And think about this. Most people on a Friday, work has finished, the last thing they want to think about is work. They're looking forward to Saturday and Sunday. They're looking forward to enjoying their life. But on a Monday, when they get to work, that's when they're peed off about their job. So Claire didn't realise, and when I gave her this information, she went, that's why I'm getting such good results, calling people on a Sunday night at 8 o'clock. And now she's added to her script, she's going to say, oh, looking forward to work tomorrow, just to really wind up that pain a little bit more. And I know that people are scared to ring on a Sunday or a Saturday because they think people are busy. But really, what a great time to ring someone if you're going to talk about the business. So I just wanted to share that when you were talking about that. Yeah. Now, the other thing as well, right? text. People go on about, oh, I want to text people. I want to hide behind this screen because no one's going to come out and grab me if I text. But if I pick up the phone, they're going to come through and grab me through the phone. Now, where do you stand on, and there is a place for text. Let's not put that aside. There is a place for text because now we've got the UW, I want to touch on the stories.
Yeah.
But for me, this is what I believe. When I'm sending these stories out, and I think they're phenomenal, guys. If you're not doing it, you're missing a massive trick here. But I ring up and I ask the question, you know, like we use the script, say, would it be okay if I send you a video? It's 2 minutes. Would you take a look? You can do it a bit by text, but where's your take on text versus phone versus text?
Well,
will you get murdered by calling, and will you survive by texting?
So I'm always about phone calls. I do think, you know, I've always thought it's about phone calls. I do think, though, it's also about being appropriate, and, you know, if you have, well, depending on what relationship you have with that person. So, and I've said this to someone, you know, I always get this in a training, somebody or one or two people say to me, oh, I really don't want to phone this person. We've never phoned each other before. We do everything by text. He or she will think it's really weird, and they'll be, you know, think there's been an accident or something if I phone them. So I said, look, if that's the relationship you've got, then, and you can get a good result, then do that. And they've done that and got an appointment. That's fine. I don't have an issue with that. I think what we're sort of talking about is so many calls you could shy away from because you think, oh, I met those 10 people at a wham, you know, I'm just going to text them. The chances are they'll never come back to you. Never, ever, ever. They just don't. And I did that, you know, a couple of weeks ago, neighbour letter appointment cancelled. He cancelled me by text. I asked him, you know, no problem, that's okay, you know, would it be okay? When would be best for you? Daytimes, evenings, next week. This is my availability. Didn't come back to me. So a couple of days later, I picked up the phone. He was quite surprised I phoned, but I didn't act surprised because he gave me his number when I asked for it. So, you know, I would always say the phone wins over, I mean, they can always not answer it, of course, but I do think the phone wins over text generally, absolutely.
You can't get that enthusiasm, but also we're all nice people. You don't pick up, you just prepare, you pick up the phone and you have a nice, you don't go, oh, how are you? Oh, I want to talk to you about something. You know, you're like, hi, how's it going? You know, really nice. And the enthusiasm when you're saying, look, I've really started something you really, really need to take a look at, but I really want your opinion. There's no way you could ever get that across in a text. Never.
Exactly. No.
What is it? I think Big Al says just increase your excitement by 10%. How do you do that on a text?
Exactly. They can't hear the passion. They can't hear any empathy. They can't hear any of that. And as we know, texts and emails can be misconstrued. It so easily happens. So, yeah, calls all the way. But text if you really need to. It's not a problem.
And the proof is in this. There's WhatsApp groups all over the place. There's emails. There's all that. Could we have done this call and the feelings about calls and how you're going to get the message across had we not done it, not just on a call, but a video, which really personalizes it? Yeah. And I think this is the proof, isn't it, why Zoom works so well and team meetings work so well rather than all the WhatsApp texts that go on. You need that human element. Because we are
absolutely. We're really lucky with technology, as we know all the stuff we've got. But you can't beat
sound a bit drunk
face-to-face interaction or on the phone, as far as I'm. Oh,
yeah,
I'm really not.
You're back.
This is water.
Oh, brilliant! Listen, look, do you know what? I'm really conscious of time, and I said 30 minutes, and we're just a couple of minutes over, so I don't want to keep it going over. I've picked up a lot of stuff, and I hope a lot of people have as well. Couple of most important things is Rome, R-O-M-E. I'm going to put it on the WhatsApp group so you can have a look at an example script from Steve. He gave me 2, so I'll send both. But it's about looking at what you want to do, who you want to call. Looking at that script so you get an idea of the different bodies of the message, and then just do it in a nice way. Stand up when you're making calls, and I think that's to do with the diaphragm, and it opens it up rather than when you're sitting down it becomes compact and the voice doesn't come out properly. But also smile when you're talking to people on the phone, because they really can see your smile. and have the reason for what you're going to do. And I also love the fact that Steve says I keep it simple. He forgot messy, but he keeps it simple. We saw his desk there. And just not to be afraid, because we're just human and people will buy into us and our human element.
Yeah, absolutely. When all is said and done, it's okay. You can pick up the purple phone. Do you like my purple phone?
You got a purple phone?
That was a present.
Yeah,
pick up the phone. It's not that difficult. If you have a few basic things in place, you've got a script, that you can use and tweak. You've got a couple of people to support you. You can do that as well. Some coffee and calls or cakes and calls. It's all there for the taking. And of course, telephone training. If you haven't been on it, if you want to come, there will be a venue near you at some point in the future.
Brilliant. And thank you, Steve. And I just want to end on something. Guys, when you pick up that phone and you're phoning people, please don't phone them because you want to be a QD. Please don't phone them because you want quit. Please don't phone them because you want to get to TL and they're going to be part of your business. Phone them because you genuinely want to help them, either to save money or to build a business that could change their lives. And Chris Williams said it lovely one day when he said, I changed from trying to recruit 4 people a month to I really wanted to help 4 people a month. And if you have that, they will sense that in your voice, that you genuinely are phoning for them. And if you use the skills that Steve has shared with us tonight, 9:30, is it too late to give someone a call after here? And do you know what? Maybe just give someone a call to tell them that you missed them rather than anything to UW. Make that a start. Maybe ring mum, ring dad, ring, if they're around, if they're still alive, so you understand respect to anyone who hasn't got their parents around. But someone close to you, just give them a call after this Zoom and just see. It's really nice to pick up the phone. So on that note, Steve, is there anything you want to finish with before we let you go?
Great to have you all with us. And go forth and make calls.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. And Steve, really appreciate it. And it's going to go mental now because I'm going to mute everyone for a 30-second so I can all say thank you and good night. So over to you lot.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.
Have a lovely evening, everyone, and see you all at MAD.
Bye, guys. See you at MAD.
Thanks, Steve. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
At the moment,